So, welcome to this webinar on living with the sense of on this series of freedom and happiness, which is very ultimate thing that anybody would like to live a life of. And we have been touching at various themes, and some people told me that what you talk makes sense, but it is not practical. So I can understand this concern, and I then said, okay, let me see in my life what is it that has worked. And because of that, I have chosen this time the theme that what are the skills and what are those insights and what are those values and practices which have actually helped me to live a life of reasonable peace and sense of well-being. So this is the theme I have chosen for today, and please feel free to share whatever you want at any point of time. So this is an interactive, and we are jointly exploring. It is not just that I have to keep talking and you have to keep listening. So this Zoom platform gives us that facility. So I would say when I was reflecting on it today, that okay, how would I present this? Then I thought that okay, let me say what is it that you know uh, let us talk first practical versus impractical. Now we receive so many of WhatsApp messages with lot of wisdom and genuine wisdom. I won't say that what they are saying is not of value, of genuine wisdom, but then we also know, and similarly, all the people who are overweight know how to reduce their weight. They have everything on their tips that actually they know more than the dietitians how to reduce the weight. But then what stops us from implementing? So cognitive understanding does not help in transforming people. If it was very as easy as that, then all the people who are getting lots of gyan on WhatsApp and on internet and otherwise in the books would live a very peaceful and happy life. So, but that's not the reality. So if we debunk that, then what is it that makes a difference? That's the second question which comes in. So in that context, I want to say that life is driven by feelings and not by thoughts, as is usually believed. Thoughts are also important, but the prime mover of life is feelings. When I am feeling hurt, then my mind is only thinking of how can I overcome that hurt, or how can I deal with that hurt, or how can I settle scores with the person who has hurt me, etc., etc. Or similarly, when I am in love, I am only thinking of the person I am in love, and I can't stop myself from thinking or even sleeping when I am madly in love. So that's clearly an indicator that it is the feelings which drive. Similarly, when a person feels and is deeply hurt, and then he or she gets really motivated, then they are one-pointed, focused, working for achieving the goal that they have failed in and which has hurt them. So you will see that feelings is the fuel. It's without that you won't be able to do anything. If you are afraid that your health may go bad, then you will make sure that you go out and exercise and eat proper food and reduce your weight. When people suffer heart attack, I have seen them reducing their weight by 25 kgs, which they were earlier attempting for so many years. So it is the fear of death, the fear and anxiety about the future, which makes people really, go on. So the thesis I'm presenting is not the cognitive understanding, but it is the feelings which are driving us to action, and even motivation is the feeling. Unless you feel strongly for your goal, only then you are motivated, and then that gives you the energy to pursue that goal single-mindedly without getting distracted. And feelings come from our beliefs and our values, and so those are important. So because of feeling, the beliefs and values are important. And third point that I want to say is that there are certain skills involved in behavioral skills which are involved in managing feelings, or even in communicating our positions, or even telling ourselves self-talk that we do to ourselves. So there are skills, there are definite skills which are required, which help us in this. Uh, okay, so what are those skills we will talk about? And so in the same way, these skills we move, like in driving, we may not know that we may not be good in driving, but as we start learning about driving, we become expert in driving, and it becomes our unconscious competence. So these are the skills in which we can move from unconscious incompetence to the unconscious competence. I hope some of you know this process. The process is, initially we don't know some skill, and we are not even conscious that we don't have this skill. For example, I may not be conscious that I'm not in touch with my feelings. And then there's a conscious incompetence. That means I become aware that I don't have this. And after that, I become consciously competent, slowly, hesitantly competent in that skill. With, for example, even in driving. And then I become so expert that I exercise that skill even without being conscious of it. So it's an unconscious competence. So similarly, there are skills in behavioral field where we become, we right now may not be conscious of even. Our incompetence may be unconscious, but we can move towards a fully conscious competence. Some people are joining, so I have to be very conscious of this thing also, that and admit them. Yeah. Okay. So this is what is. So now in that context, the first thing that I want to talk about is that what are the behavioral skills which have helped me in staying by and large in a peaceful or reasonably sense of well-being. So I would also like you to share if you want to share anything. But one thing which has really helped me tremendously is, I would say, that my realization that if I take responsibility, I am responsible for whatever is happening to me, and nobody else is responsible. And therefore, even though it seems that other person is hurting me or doing something wrong to me, I don't have to focus, even if that is a fact, I have to focus on what I can do to get what I want. So that has been a tremendously, and this theme will continuously keep coming in my discussion. You will notice that this theme will keep coming. So this is one of the most potent and powerful thing which has helped me to live a reasonably peaceful life. The taking responsibility. And second thing which has helped me tremendously is that when I realized the power of feelings, and got in touch with my feelings and how these feelings move from one feeling to another feeling, and how I deal with them functionally, how I convert them into motivation to change me. So this is a tremendous skill. So I think this movement of EQ movement, which has come by Daniel Goleman, I think that has been a very valid movement, and I would encourage all of us. And this is a learned skill. It takes time. It takes years to. We have been brought up in a society where feelings are not as much valued. In some homes, those feelings are valued, but in the traditional homes, for example, even in my own home, I feel that we were not encouraged. I was not, I would say, that as much encouraged to express my feeling as I would have liked it. So I have had to struggle a lot to get in touch. Even right now, I feel I'm still not as spontaneous and good in expressing and dealing with my feeling as I would have liked myself to be. So this is my work in progress. The third thing which I feel, which has had a tremendous impact on my life in terms of moving in this direction, was learning as a skill. So what that is that that as many people say, many wise people have been saying it, that you can, it's okay to make mistakes, but it is not good to repeat the mistake. So this is a very common well-known thing. So learning is that only that I learn from my mistakes. But why do I want to learn from my mistakes? What is my motivation? And so learning is important to me because there's a fundamental need to be happy and have a good sense of well-being. And mistakes, according to me, are those which promote unhappiness, sorrow, and suffering in life. And learning is that which we don't repeat so that we don't get those suffering and misery again in our lives. So that's why, it is very important that I learn. So I realize that this is the only way I will be able to get out of pain, suffering, sorrow, uh, and convert that suffering into learning. And that is my motivation, that pain. So in that sense, I will talk about this one skill, the capacity to bear pain and convert it into motivation for learning. So this third thing, which is very important, and this is very well known now in all the classic leadership literature, that people who learn are the ones who ultimately are good leaders. And I can tell you that I've seen people at 4 years old children who blame others in situations, and I have seen 94-year-old people also blaming others in situations, and in this 90-year experiences doesn't lead to much learning. It's so those experiences, we keep on repeating the same mistakes. So that's why I say that learning skill, so that I have spoken once in a while perhaps, that learning involves moving in a learning cycle, which is experiencing, reflecting, learning, and applying that learning, and moving in that spiral again and again. And so unless it is a very important value for me, learning is a very important value for me, I will not be able to get out of the suffering. I think life keeps on repeating the same experiences till we learn it. I think this is right. I believe in this. So, and I think somehow that's why I somehow believe in Buddha's this thing hypothesis, that this you keep on coming back to this word unless you attain enlightenment, learn, and get out of it. There's this everything around this is cyclical. We keep repeating same mistake, keep repeating caught in the same, and we don't learn, and therefore we keep getting caught. So learning is one of the most crucial, according to me, is one of the most crucial pillars of getting out of suffering. And of course, this I have shared earlier also, and this one is that capacity to bear pain. This is, I think, is a unique capacity. In some people I've seen, they're able to stay in pain, convert it into motivation to learn. But majority of us are just deflecting the pain. We just deflect it, and we don't let it touch us, and therefore we don't convert it into learning, and we keep on repeating the same. This is what the psychological defense mechanisms are. Actually, they can be used and abused. So mostly abused. So this is some preliminary thing that I have to share. There are more things, but if you have anything to say, I would like that we can have. Anji? Okay. Okay, then after that I've talked about behavioral skills, and now I say, as I said, that feelings origin comes from the values and beliefs. If I believe that honesty is good, and if I am dishonest, I'll feel guilty, and if somebody else is dishonest, I won't like them. So the feelings are generated. So feelings are generated from values, right? So that is the most important thing. And what values have helped me, which I have thought through, and I think now learning was a skill here. Learning is again a value. Learning with humility. So I can't learn without. It's a paradox of learning is that we learn only when we believe we don't know much. So we don't learn when we say so. Learning with humility is one of the very important values which has helped me. And so this is learning as a skill and learning as a value. And the second thing is again same, the skill of managing feelings and sensitivity to feelings. So since, as I've said, that the whole world revolves, human behavior revolves around feelings. So if I'm sensitive to my own feelings, then I will become sensitive to others' feelings. That's a very important value for me. And this is also reflected in the golden rule given by Christ 2000 years ago, or maybe even before that. Christ, it was there, that don't do unto others but you. So that value is a very important. So why I'm talking about values is because values are the main source of feelings, and feelings are the main source of behavior, and that's the main source of happiness or unhappiness in our life. So that's why I'm talking of this. And so they're all connected, at different levels at time. And the third thing which I strongly believe and practice and want to practice is the integrity in thoughts, words, and actions, and being non-manipulative and straightforward. I think that makes life very easy. Whosoever has implemented, they will vouch for it, that life becomes very easy and when there is a game free. So when there is no hidden agenda, what you experience and what you talk and what you walk, there is not much difference. Then life is very easy. It becomes very simple. So that, according to me, is a very important value. Then other thing which is related to social is that my orientation is not my self-interest at the cost of others, but my self-interest also helps in other social or larger groups or societies interest also. So it's a win-win orientation that has helped me a lot. So whenever I get into, I try to get. And one of the important ones is then which I think everybody will vouch for it, is that this all humans, even animals perhaps, there's always an internal conflict going between one part and another part. In transaction analysis we call it parent, adults, and child. And so there's a conflict going on. The one part is always wanting comfort, another part is wanting, we should conform with the society's norm, and third part has to integrate the two. So this self-discipline comes there. I think this is a very important value because even the river cannot reach the ocean unless it is bound by the banks. So that way, this is ultra important. And this will come from capacity to bear pain. They are related actually. So what I'm talking is, most of these things you will find there are some connections between each of them, and they are as an integrated whole. So self-discipline is a very important value. That is what keeps us healthy. That is what keeps us, maintaining the balance between work and life, and so many things actually. So you cannot even enjoy holidays if you're not disciplined. So that's my beliefs. So even if to enjoy any sports or game or holiday or anything, this self discipline is required. So that's an important value. And the last one which I'm going to speak, and I would like to hear from you after this, is I give a lot of importance and value to creativity. I think that's what life wants us to be, and because routine makes it for boredom, and creativity makes it for excitement and joy. It's a lot of joy. I believe the real joy which has no sorrows attached to it is the one of creativity. Whenever you are creative, either in your words or in your doing something which you create, say maybe a dress, or maybe poetry, or maybe some insight into mechanical problem or social problem or anything. So that's the most exciting thing in life. So and there is no negative pain associated or sorrow associated with other with that excitement, like unlike senses, which you do more than you feel sadness and sorrow associated with it. But creativity, wherever you're creative, there is hardly any sorrow associated with it. And I think that's what life wants us to be creative, and life is ultra creative all around whenever you look. So I have briefly said, so do you think what I'm talking is not practical, cannot be implemented? It may not be implemented to 100%, but to the degree we are able to move in this direction, I believe the life becomes simpler and happy. So now I want to hear from you that in your case, what is it in your case which you find has helpful to you live your life, everyday life, in a very good mood, by and large peaceful mood, and a sense of well-being. So I would be very happy if you can share with me, freely, about, and even you can give some critique if you want. If you disagree with whatever I have said, it will be okay if you disagree, and share that with me. So whatever you want. Right now I would like, we have about 20 minutes, so half the time I have taken, and I would invite any one of you to please feel free to say and add value to
so you asked what has helped me.
Yeah.
Right. So attitude of gratitude really has helped me to live more happily and peacefully.
Right.
And I've started writing actually gratitude journal every day.
Correct.
So attitude of gratitude. I started writing gratitude. I'm grateful for 5 things every day, and that has helped me a lot in feeling good and peaceful.
Wow, like fantastic! I think that's a that has been really because that suddenly makes us positive. And as I said, in one of my messages, that in day-to-day struggles we forget that there is a lot of we are stuck and get in a lot of complaints and frustrations, and we forget that we enjoy so much. Thank you, Rashmi. I think that was fantastic. That's how we add value as a group. That when we share something and I missed it and she added it, please go ahead. I'll don't hesitate. Take risk. Risk taking is another very important value. Yeah, nobody is going to criticize.
I just want to add to it. Earlier, I was just sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah. Go ahead. You were saying something.
I said earlier I used to just verbalize my gratitude, like I'm grateful for this while walking or whenever I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
But now I started writing, and I think anything when I write is more it's more effective.
Okay.
Even
so
like
writing.
video lecture, I used to listen, but now I just picked up few words.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down. When I write it down, it kind of sticks in my head. So that's it.
That's another additional thing, that you write down. Write down what you're saying. I agree with it. I fully resonate. Yeah. Let us hear others. Please, this is your group. Don't hesitate. Nobody's perfect, and we all make mistakes. So don't be afraid that you will say something which will not be of value. So whatever you add is a value addition. Yeah. And it gives me delight that people are contributing. Yeah. Yeah, I see Aarti Grover, you're joining, I think, for a second time or sometime. So why don't you say something? I'm inviting now.
I was just thinking while you were speaking and Rashmidi was saying something. I really appreciate that. What she said also kind of, resonates with me a little.
Right.
But you know what, sir, really helps me these days is I started to go with the flow. I mean, I don't know whether it comes at this age when your burhapa really sets in. Earlier, I would always kind of find flaws with things, and I will say, ki, aisa kyun nahi ho raha, waisa kyun nahi ho raha. But, off late, I've realized last 4, 5, 7 years, no, not 7, 4, 5, 6 years, that, it's good to be with the flow. I mean, whatever comes your way, just enjoy that. So also in terms of relationships and in terms of interactions, I've started to enjoy what the other person has to offer. Otherwise, I would always find flaws with things and people, ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे थे, ऐसा क्यों दे रहे थे, why is life giving me this and not that? So now I realize that, okay, if life is giving me this, there must be some larger goods with the cosmic energy, that this is what I am getting. So I'm trying to figure out what is why is that which has come to me and what I should make of it, instead of figuring out kya nahi mila hai. So maybe that's something that I've started to
I tell you, there's some synchronicity. synchronicity in what you're saying. Yesterday I was going in a car, and some voices within me were saying this is not okay, this, and this is how can I stop these voices? They are the source of unhappiness for me. And then I suddenly realized, in spirituality there's a total acceptance. Jo ho jaye. Oh, okay. So जो हो जाए, and acceptance, जो कुछ करे सो पल कर मान्यो. So I said that is the antidote to that. Since I trust life and trust God, that whatever, there's a beautiful world, and there's a beautiful processes, intelligent processes behind it, and I trust it, and so whatever happens, I will deal with it, and I accept it as this is the right thing at this right moment. So going with the flow, and I think that was a great relief at that moment, and certainly all my voices stopped inside my head, which keeps telling me, which in TA we call the parent or a super ego. So it's keep on making the noises within us. You're not good. You're this. You're that. So that is a great counter to that. So going with the flow, I think. I just amazingly beautiful thing you have said, Aarti, and there's a lot of synchronicity to what you have said, because this is I was having in my mind. Yeah. Yes. So that is the beauty of this group, that we add value. Yeah. So, and they're very practical things that people are saying. Then we are able to.
What I have learned in the past few months is every time a bad thought comes to me, I just switch it, because I'm getting more aware. Earlier, I won't be even aware I'm getting all those thoughts negative. But now the moment it comes, at least 5 out of 10 times I've reached that stage that I switch it. I said, oh, I'm more aware of
so
it.
that means
I feel really good.
So
about that.
what you're saying is I have the power.
I never knew.
Yeah, so I think a very important point that you're saying is that I have the power to control these voices which tell me that, and the moment I become aware of them, then I have the control on them, and I can give different voice inside the self-talk voices. Yeah, excellent. Yep. Let us hear, Vardha, where are you? So we haven't heard from you for quite some time. Yeah, let's hear, where are you? Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm here. I have, I think one of the things that I was thinking about when you were sharing, this thing about feelings.
Yeah.
You were saying that how it's really important for people to be in touch with feelings, and you were sharing your own experience of difficulty initially before you started your training to be in touch with feelings. And one of the things that came to my mind was that there are also gender differences. I think it's, and I was particularly conscious of your gender and how for men in our society it is often, feelings are, I think it's even harder work for men. For them to be more in touch with their feelings. So that was something that that came up for me when you were talking about feelings.
Yeah, could be.
And I think in terms of what's helpful, I think for me creating space, just sort of finding, just creating space for things to come up, for just creating quietude in life. I think is really important to sort of. To be able to look at all of these things. And this, interactions like this, meetings like this, I think reaffirming shared values and a sense of community, I think is also really valuable.
I think these meetings are merely small nudge that, okay, let's keep working. This is a fantastic direction. And that's what exactly you said, that I create that space for quietude where I can reflect on and introspect and focus my energies, rather than be totally all the time occupied with a lot of work that we have, and that work never ends. I think that's very beautifully said. As even you hear this, jahan mati wahan gati, so wherever is your attention, you will grow in that direction. So making space. So if you make space for this, yes, Aarti, you want to say something? Go ahead, yeah. You want to say something, Aarti?
I like Vardha. So what Vardha said, I really agree with most of it. And something which comes to my mind right now is that one more thing, sir, which I think I am really feeling it myself. And I have some friends who are, who are elder in age and they have their experience, they share with me. So what I have kind of, started to practice in my life is that like I'm around 43 now. So all my life, I've been just like a donkey. I've been just working all my life. पहले 10th पास करनी है, फिर 12th पास करनी है, फिर ये मास्टर्स करनी है, फिर PhD करते ही जा रहे हैं. So अभी off late I've taken. I've made it a point that every day for some time at least I will halt and I will look at what I've done.
Correct.
And I will find and I will rather choose of what I want to do and how much I want to do and what exactly I don't want to do. So I want to make my own choices after probably having. I should not be saying that I've achieved, but at least where I've right now come, where I'm almost more than half the life is gone. So I've made it a point that let's just make our choices ourselves to some extent. Not that life gives you all that liberty, yet at least wherever.
I think this is just too good in the sense that from being driven by unconscious forces to my ability to choose my life and by being fully aware of what is driving me and then making those choices. I think this is brilliant, simply brilliant. That is a sense of freedom, right? That's what I say, live with a sense of freedom. Then a sense of freedom is making the choices what I want to do and what I want to say no to. So my ability to say no to many of the things. Wow, excellent. Yeah. I think this today evening is much better than the earlier ones because I'm hearing and other people are contributing much more and enriching this webinar in this way. So Vishwa, today we are seeing you, Vishwa Prabha, we hear your messages. I read your messages and like to. Sometimes my internet goes unstable and so your voice must be problematic. But okay, Vishwa, can we hear you? Can we hear something from you, Vishwa Prabha? So please come on. Ask to unmute, yeah? So are you there? No, you're not there? Yes. So, hello. So I really appreciate your joining every time and taking keen interest in this webinar. So why don't you tell us what is your thoughts on what we are sharing right now?
सर आप मुझे सुन पा रहे हैं?
हाँ बिल्कुल एकदम से सुन पा रहे हैं. सॉरी अभी हम लोग प्लीज गो अहेड बोलिए.
लगता है कि किसी भी दिन अच्छे से किसी की हेल्प कर दी, किसी को हंसा दिया तो मेरा दिन सफल हो जाता है.
Okay, wow. So that is the way you had. Okay, great.
होते हैं कि मैं किसी को
right, that's
yes,
right.
sir.
I think
I want to give anything to somebody.
Correct. Even right now you're doing it to us by telling this beautiful thing. Do you know this? Right now you are adding this joy to us. When you said this, suddenly I was reminded of Dalai Lama. He says, when I get up in the morning, I says, okay, what can I do for others? And so as I say that my self-interest is served best when I serve others. And you are saying that the happiness comes the moment you do something for others without any expectation of reward from them. So in that sense, you have, I fully, resonate with you. And this is what Dalai Lama says. And this is what I say, that I serve my self-interest best when I serve others. So right now we are getting joy and by, sharing our sources of joy to each other. Excellent. Just too good. I think I will, I get joy when I do something without any expectation of return. When I do something for other. Right. Sorry, what did you say?
Selfless seva.
Selfless seva. I tell you, there is a well-known literature available. That says that people who are very self-centered get into depression, and people who are very others-oriented and do a lot of good for others without any expectation of reward, they are the ones who are able to live a very happy life. So this is a scientific literature. You can search on the internet on this and you'll find this. Okay, let me summarize then what we have said here in before. today was the time where we share that, okay, what is practical and what is implementable and what is not implementable. And in that context, I said, okay, let me examine some of the practices which have helped me. So, sorry, I think I have missed one, which was the last one, is the practices that helped me. So in that I have said about meditation, and I have said about building a yeah. So the last one is the practices that help, which I have not yet talked of. One is the meditation, and the second is having a support network, where emotional support network of my close immediate family and some friends, and creativity in every life. So those are the practices which are, and you can add this, doing selfless work, seva, and being gratitude, and all those things also we can add as our practices. So I'm saying that we are creating this community and this network of people without any self-interest, and so that we nudge each other to keep working on ourselves, because group dynamics has a very powerful role to play. And this is just a small reminder every week to myself and to the people who are joining, that keep working in this path of self-understanding and learning and growing. And this is the only path which is going to give you a sense of freedom and happiness. This is my not only firm belief, I know it. So I can tell you, this is guaranteed for you if you keep working on yourself on this path. And today we have heard many beautiful things from various people, including myself. And let us see that how it can be helped to us. I think there's hardly few seconds left, and I would like to say goodbye. Thank you very much. And